Alrighty, so this is day 2 of the past life readings. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a part 2, but yesterday I got a request for past life love readings. What kind of love did you experience in a past life? And that seemed like a confirmation that I should do a day 2 reading for past lives, focusing on love or the romantic relationships you experienced or endured in a past life. I'm going to be using this past lives oracle deck again, as well as the Star Codes Astro Oracle. And this Way Home Tarot. The Way Home Tarot will determine each of the 3 groups. Okay, group number 1. Saw that though. The Sun. Group number 2. The 3 of Swords. And group 3. The Father of Cups or the King of Cups. So, group number 1, the Sun. Group number 2, the 3 of Swords. And group number 3, the Father or the King of Cups. One, two, three. And we'll begin with group 1, the Sun. Okay, so group number 1, you chose the Sun. Let's see what we have here. Group number 1, the Sun. What kind of love did they experience in a past life? Magic. Sorcerer or sorceress, alchemist, illusionist, Wiccan. Okay. What else about this love? Oh. Psychic. Okay. High Priestess, Gypsy, Prophet, Astrologer. Dang. Okay, but on the back of that, we had the lesson was truth and discernment. The trauma was war. The faith was sacrificial. The love was polyamorous or polygamous. Identity mother. Interesting. Okay. Death poison. Okay. The moon, perception. Which is also card number 19. We got the sun and the moon, both number 19. Wow, that's pretty, like, nuts. Okay. Oh. This was no ordinary, like, love story. So, in a past life, you were in love with somebody and it was like a destined, fated connection. There was magic between the two of you, just like a natural love magic. You guys had manifested each other. It was like written in the stars that you two would be together. That's how it was meant to go. You two brought out the magic or the powers in each other. You may have even like created a life together, had a family. But there were a lot of illusions cast over you or your lover. There was almost like a gypsy or like a priestess in reverse. That was a great challenge, was the greatest challenge of your connection, because he or she used magic to sabotage that connection. You and or your partner were put under like kind of a spell. They were no longer like able to trust you or vice versa. They couldn't see clearly. They imagined infidelity where there wasn't. Like really strong kind of magic was put over you or your partner to create like war with one another over things that were not true. They were illusions. That crunching is my kitten. She's having breakfast. Man. But 19 is 1 and 9, the beginning and the end, a cycle that goes round and round like the sun and the moon. It's a circle. This is somebody who likely you will meet in this life to continue if you haven't already met them. Your past life, like love reading, could be talking about the person that you're with today. Otherwise, it is somebody who you will meet in this life to continue what it is you didn't get to like accomplish in your past life together. You two just like hop from lifetime to lifetime and always find each other and come back together. You experience everything together, your time in the sun, your day in the sun, and you experience your darkest times together, your times of confusion. It may appear, or in the past life it may have appeared like there was something that could be done to tear you two apart, but the fact of the matter is that it's impossible to tear you two apart in the grand scheme over many incarnations, you keep finding each other over and over again. This is a cycle that will never end. These are two really important bodies carrying one soul. So, whether that was your mother or his mother, whether that was your false friend or this person's false friend, there was somebody in your circle, some kind of like a gypsy cursor or some kind of a priestess in reverse that used all of the magic they could muster to create horrible illusions to confuse you and or that person, to make you or that person paranoid, and bring out just the worst in the both of you somehow, and they succeeded in that lifetime. Wow, that's annoying. Hold up. Okay. wanted my cat to finish eating her breakfast. Okay. So wow, this is actually this very much informs your relationships of this lifetime. You may have dealt with a lot of sabotage and outside influences in any of your relationships in this lifetime. This kind of energy, this gypsy in reverse, the energy of that being follows you in your lifetimes and tries very hard to sabotage your connections. They are successful to a certain degree, but their power weakens and weakens with every lifetime because your power grows and improves in every lifetime. So it may not be like the exact same soul is following you, but that energy, it travels with you and your relationships. Anytime you yourself believe you have found your true match again, whether or not it's even true, this kind of sabotaging energy will reanimate itself somehow in this lifetime to get in the way. In this lifetime, you may have had a relationship fully sabotaged and ruined by some kind of a sabotage energy. Somebody with a mystic power, or even somebody that is just a really effective meddler. But in this lifetime, it was actually for your benefit. Because either it separated you from somebody who was not even your true match, and it actually helped you, and it helped you sharpen your intuition and awareness, so that when you come into union with this one person that you belong with in every lifetime, you will have built an immunity for this kind of bullshit, and you will be able to live out your days in the sun in this lifetime. Otherwise, you have already met this counterpart of yours, and that relationship was sabotaged in the past, but you will most likely come back into union in this life, and if not, then you both know, you both have faith in the soul of your souls that in the next life you'll come together again. It's an unbreakable chain what you two share. It doesn't matter if it is interrupted through each of the lifetimes. But this might be something that you've been dealing with in this lifetime. It's an energy that follows you in every lifetime, but the good news is that it weakens with every incarnation as you grow stronger, and your love and the strength of your connection grows stronger with every incarnation. Damn. Okay. It's a cycle that never ends. 1 goes all the way through 9, and 9 just goes back to 1. It's an unending cycle with you two. This is a past life love, but it's the other half of your soul. 6 of Wands. More fire, specifically Leo. Six of Cups, another six, and then another fixed energy Scorpio. Wow. Okay. Four of Cups, Cardinal, Cancer, who is ruled by the moon. You experienced victory together, and this was the love that was recognized by everybody around. Everybody in your vicinity could feel the power of this love. It's like a great victory what you two share and show to the world. That always takes place. There is a remembrance that you find in one another. You always remember each other. When you come back together in each incarnation, there is a knowing and a recognition and a familiarity of one another every time. But there is always this weird backwards love potion energy that you each are kind of fed by a saboteur or reverse gypsy energy to confuse you and to confuse each of you on your destined course. It has a way of sucking out the passion between the two of you. It has a way of making you focus on the shallow 3D material earth elements of reality, thinking they are important and they are true. This is the cycle. You go deep as the ocean, and then you're brought back to shore to observe your own relationship as though it was just a puddle. And this is the cycle. The universe, which is like the world of this deck. It doesn't ever matter how the story ends in each lifetime. It is a victory that is just waiting to be reawakened later on in that lifetime or the one that follows. This is a connection that was born in the stars. It was written in the stars that it would go this way. You guys made a home in each other. You guys are a home to one another that will never change. But in this lifetime, you will find this person, and it will go the way it was meant to go. Any kind of interruptions may take place, but they don't have power. This connection is completely protected by the warmth of spirit, angels. The universe smiles over this connection and protects it. In this lifetime, you guys may actually be like hidden away from any kind of saboteur energy. Because this is like a cabin at the mountains in the snow where nobody knows it exists. In this lifetime, this may not be a connection that is widely recognized by everybody around you, by the world, the way it was in the past. But that might be exactly what you two need, is actually a private relationship without attracting anything or anybody toward you. Just elevating the world through your energy that you two privately share in the comfort of your own privacy. This lifetime might be like the witness protection program for this love. It will take place in a very private place. Or perhaps it will be known, but something about the energy of the connection will be preserved and untouchable, completely protected, surrounded by the color of spirit. the Mother of Wands, or the Queen of Wands. And the Father, or the King of Wands. Okay. Yeah. You two may be fire signs, or there's like a Leo energy here. The Sun, the Six of Wands, and then these two fire, this Mother and Father of fire. Leo is a really important sign here, whether or not you have Leo placements, but that would be a major confirmation to you. But Leo is a fixed energy, and Leo is an unstoppable force. Leo is courageous and generous, endlessly compassionate. You guys always light each other up, and it's a fire that will not go out, not in this life. Not in this incarnation. You won't see it be put out. You will not be sabotaged this point moving forward in this life. The love that you have, the home that you will create. It's crazy how much this is a past life reading, but it very much is spilling into the present. Who you two are, you belong together. You ignite each other in a way that is, obviously it is a destined connection. You two are each born with a fire. It is the same flame that was split into two. This is this past life connection very much is the story of your present life connection in a different form. The only difference is that the sabotage that took place, it was successful in the past life. It may have been successful in the first part of this life or something, but not enough to completely blanket it out or mute it out. There will be a revival in this life between the two of you, and it will be an unstoppable force, and you will get to the end together. These are two people who always find each other in every lifetime. That very much informs your life today. It's not even what I was going for. I just wanted to talk about your past life. But there's no way to ignore this message. That's really powerful. Incredible. Okay, I'm going to move on to group 2. This one here. Okay, so group 2, you chose the 3 of Swords. Let's see. What kind of a love did you experience in the past life that would shed light on anything you experienced in this life? Okay, one of these blank cards came out, so we'll remember that. There are only 2 of those in these decks. In this deck, so I don't, it keeps coming out. It's such an important card. It has so much to say. despite saying literally nothing. Hey. Industry, but we already saw that one. That's not fun. No. Wild West. Cowboy, settler, indigenous person, or other. Okay. As well as adventurer, explorer, pioneer, crusader, and other. But we're going to focus also on... Wow, this is so similar to... Man, this is so similar to yesterday. Specifically yesterday's pile 2. So the location, the stars. Trauma is psychic wounding. Faith is celestial. The lesson was self-love. This is Taurus, cultivate, a lot of earth energies. Then we have this bull as well as this, what is that? A cat or a horse there. But we've got Libra and Taurus, which is Venus energy. Can we get another one? Because this looks pretty... This is like... I'm confused, actually. Opposition, confrontation. So, the love that you experienced in a past life. Hold up. Okay, sorry. So, I don't know if this took place literally during the Wild West, but it had like Wild West themes. This was like a very tumultuous and like almost like unlawful kind of love. Either you and this person were already married. You and or this other person were already committed and married in almost like an arranged marriage between two like high-class families, and either you and this person were of a lower class, but you fell in love, the two of you. So it was like a third-party situation. But the problem was that the third party, or the one intervening in the marriage, that was the real love, though. So infidelity did take place. A lot of like unethical, immoral, like breaking of codes, marriage codes took place. But the irony is that that was the true love, though. Either you or this person were unfaithful to their marriage partner, but the marriage was born out of an arrangement. It wasn't true love, it was like a business deal. and that person felt trapped in that marriage. They were trapped. You or this other person were of a lower class. You may have even worked for in the home of that marriage, or you may have worked like you were like part of the crew of the house. So not only was it a great like shame that the married person had to endure because they were unfaithful and they couldn't help themselves from falling in love, finding their true match outside of a marriage they were in, but furthermore, for superficial reasons, it was like very taboo because one of you was of extremely low rank. Family members, society members, nobody was in support of this connection. That one of you who was a lower rank was basically like tormented emotionally, attacked everywhere you went for engaging in this relationship. But there was nothing you could do. You guys were like magnets. It was true love, and only you two understood it, only you two knew it. The person who was married, it was during a time where there was no way to get a divorce or end the arrangement because they represented two entire families' lineages that came together as they were meant to by contract. There was literally nothing to do to separate the married couple, despite the fact that that person who was married was deeply in love with, shared a very unique and honest love with that third-party member, either you or that person. The two of you did not get to run away together, though that was the plan. The two of you did not get to actualize that love or manifest anything from it in that lifetime. It came up empty. There was nothing anybody could do about it. Whoever did work for the house was immediately fired, exiled, and there was no communication from that point between the two of you. But that love that you guys shared, you never forgot each other. You guys both lived quite miserably without one another. Each of you did. That marriage was like a horrible... it made that person's life feel like it lasted for 10,000 years because it made their life so difficult and it was so brutally lacking love and substance, especially after they felt what it was like to actually be in love. They had to live their entire lives married to somebody out of a contract, while their counterpart had been basically tormented by a society, culture, and both families combined and shot out of that society completely. The two of you lived in separation with wild pain in your hearts. You were never able to actualize that love, and you were both deemed like horrible members of society for it by people who didn't understand and were inconvenienced by the true heart love that you shared. You experienced in a past life a deeply heartbreaking love. You both lived your lives entirely alone in the revelation of the love that you shared. There was nothing to be done about it. And it was a very short time that you spent together. It was like 6 to 8 months maybe that you got to see each other every day. You may not have even had a physical connection, but you did have an emotional connection, and it was an emotional relationship that you had. There was nothing you could do about it. Man. That's really tough. You experienced in your last life or a previous lifetime, this was the love that you experienced. Four of Wands. Yeah, a divine match. The Mother of Wands. The Nine of Cups. The Mother of Pentacles. Yeah. There were two women here. The man, like, if you identify as a masculine, or if that speaks to you more, then you are the man who was in a relationship with a Mother of Pentacles, as in this stable contract, this fruitful contract business deal of a marriage. Otherwise, if you identify as feminine, or if that story resonates with you or makes more sense to you, then you were the Mother of Wands, or the Queen of Wands. You were the passionate love. You were a true love. His attraction was for you, and it wasn't just physical. There was something inside of you. You guys had the potential, and you kind of did build this home in each other already in that short time that you knew each other. It was like a very spiritual love, but there was nothing that could be done about it. So maybe in this lifetime, something that you have experienced is you might be afraid of commitment, perhaps, because you have a wounding about committing to somebody and then not being able to get out of that commitment. That might be something you experience in this lifetime. Otherwise, you may have fallen in love with somebody who's already in a commitment. And that especially hurts because that's a wounding from a past life. Third-party situations may have been something that followed you. Similarly, you might be somebody who was in a committed relationship that had to deal with a third party getting in. Whether or not they were even the true match of your counterpart or you, your own relationships may have been sabotaged by third-party energies. But this power of 3, it's been an issue in this life, perhaps, and it's a psychic wounding left over from a past life. Judgment. Things will go way different this time in this life. If you did experience the heartbreak of a third-party situation, or having an unfaithful partner, or you yourself falling in love with somebody only to realize that they themselves are committed to another, moving forward, that curse is being broken. You're breaking free of that because you are realizing something in this lifetime that you didn't know in a past lifetime. That the love that you have for yourself is the most powerful and important thing. That any sign of a third-party situation is not for you. Because we don't live in that kind of an era of the Wild West themes where two people come together and it is impossible to break their relationship and things like that. That would never take place in this era, and it shouldn't. If you fall in love with somebody who's already in a committed relationship and they won't break off that relationship to be with you, their hands are not tied. It doesn't have to go that way. They're just not on your level. They're not good enough for you. And you can pour that love into yourself to attract somebody who is on your level, who would be faithful, who would not be stuck in any kind of a third-party thing. While in the last lifetime, it actually was justified. The way that it went down was not your fault, and not that person who was married's fault, or if you were that married person, it was not the third party member. It was not really anybody's fault the way it went down. They were trapped. But in this lifetime, you don't have to be trapped in situations like that. There is no need for it. In this lifetime, you will resolve that wound of the third party by knowing and understanding that actually nobody's tied to anybody here. If there is a third party situation, I can leave, because I'm not here to experience third party. I'm here to experience a love between two people that is uninterrupted, where not I nor the other person is chained to another. We all have autonomy in this era, in this culture, to choose our true match. And if somebody isn't choosing me and is going back and forth between two, then I don't need that bullshit. I have autonomy in this life like I didn't in the past life. They have autonomy in this life to break that contract. And if they don't, then that's on them. That speaks multitudes of where their heart is. That's what this life is all about. Breaking the chain of the third party curse. And that's why Judgment is card number 20 or 2. This is about your individuality, your independence, and calling in somebody who is your true match. That isn't connected to another, nor are you connected to another. It is a pure, there is one single thread that runs between the two of you. That's what you will experience in this life. The Devil. No contracts. Nobody's bound to anybody except if their heart chooses to be. You won't be stuck in a relationship just because it was a business deal. That won't happen in this lifetime. And or you won't be stuck being in love with somebody who refuses to end their connections because they have the freedom to. Look at these 3 horses, no more. There are only 2 horses here in this lifetime. And the Hierophant. A commitment, a social contract. Yeah. This is what you experienced in a past life that has carried on in a way to this life. It may have influenced the events of this life. Poet! I could hear my cat. But she's like howling like a wolf. Didn't sound like a cat. Okay. But yeah. A social contract here. You will come into union with somebody in this life that is just between you and that person. There will be no interferences, and if they are, you know what to do in this life. You have the freedom that you didn't in the last life. Shed that skin and fly up and away in your awareness of yourself and what it is that you want. You will attract a counterpart that is not attached to another. And or you will have the freedom to break a connection that you have with somebody because your heart lies with somebody else, and that's the truth. No more third-party bullshit in this life. That's not going to take place, and if it did in the earlier part of this life, you should know that it was just left over from a karmic wound that you were repeating a cycle, but it's broken now. You're free from that now. Okay, so I'm going to move on to group 3. Okay, sorry, poet. I want to finish this. Alright. Group number 3. The Father of Cups. Or the King of Cups. Beauty. Town beauty, femme fatale. Struggles with appearance, prostitute. Interesting. I saw that. What was that? Oh, that was a sneaky. There we are. So also construction. These 2 cards have come out before in a very, like a reading 2 weeks ago. Builder, architect, carpenter, other. We'll remember that, but we're focusing on this side. Arranged marriage, older woman, exile, natural disaster, self-expression. What kind of a love was this? Got 2. Sagittarius, expand. Ascendant, entrance. That green is pretty powerful. Okay, so what do we have here? This is actually like a pretty peaceful. I wonder what the conflict even was. It looks like in a past life, 2 people came together and it was kind of like an arranged marriage. But neither of them felt forced. Neither you or this person really felt forced. It was an arranged marriage. But it wasn't like surprising or anything. You didn't feel like strangers because you'd grown up together. Or you were like friends growing up, or your families knew each other, and from the time you were children you knew that you'd be married when you got older. But it was a wonderful union. Like, you guys really were great friends, childhood friends. Now, the woman was beautiful. I don't know about prostitute, is just one of the words, but I don't really see that. Like, the woman was beautiful, and she had a beautiful heart, and she was, like, very precious to both families. She grew up very safe, very protected, learned all about the domestic sphere growing up because they were preparing her for marriage to this man in particular. They spent their childhood era together. They automatically had an acceptance of one another, and there was a love for one another. Maybe during the teen years or a little older than that, there was an era where the man traveled off outward. He went traveling, learned all about the different types of trades or whatever his business would be. That would make him a provider. The time they spent apart wasn't painful. Nothing here was painful. It was a very, your past life love relationship was very steady, on course. It had the full support of the community. You two were brought together by that community, but you were happy. It was very happy. The woman was beautiful, inside and out, very content young woman, very smart and skilled in a lot of ways, a very fast learner, really enjoyed the domestic elements of the life that she was forced to have, but it didn't feel like she was forced. Everything that was put on her felt really good for her. She that life fit her like a glove. The male counterpart of this relationship, same. A young, handsome, very sensitive man, beautiful inside and out. Didn't feel forced to go off and travel the world when it was his time to do so. Didn't feel forced to go to work and find a way to be a future provider. They both were given almost an assignment in love in what they would create together, and they both accepted it, and they both found great peace in it. These lives fit both of these people like a glove. They were happy, they were content, there was no reason for rebellion. They knew each other well. He came back home after his travels. He had accomplished very much by then. He was ready to be a provider or whatever was the necessary male role at the time. He nailed it. He came back home. The two of these people got married. And there was a lot of love, a lot of creativity, an outstanding balance between the two of these people. Very few actual arguments or domestic issues here. These two people, this was a very peaceful love. Wow. It's almost like the only lesson they needed to learn was self-expression, I guess. Which they did, though. They created such a safe space in each other, and it was fostered in them their whole lives growing up. The woman did have the freedom of expressing her own sexuality in this marriage. She was supported, she was loved. He put this woman on a pedestal. Whatever it is she expressed herself to be in any given moment, he was there like her biggest fan. So, it may have been hard for her at first to express herself and who she was. She was really shy, after all, growing up, but she opened up beautifully and is easily under the care of this man. Similarly, this man was free to express himself and live his life and be who he wanted with the full trust of this woman. She supported everything he did. These were like teammates. From beginning to end of their lives, they were like teammates. They were best friends. Even more so than romantic partners. But they had it all. From the time they were born. This was an incredible love. and a really interesting one. Like, this was kind of a contract written by the two families here, but there was nothing confining about it. They prospered very much from this. It worked out really well. They were meant to be together. This was like written in the stars and written by the hands of the humans who raised them. These were people who came from two very spiritually in tune families. Likely the parents of each of the members of this connection were like astrologers or worked with birth charts, so they were able to look at like the energetic fingerprints of each of these individuals and say, oh, these two like really will complement each other. And they were right. Everything that was like a prophecy about this union and what it would be, they were right. They were very in tune with some kind of knowledge. Their religion, their faith, or something. These elders, they knew what they were doing. They really were channeling spirit. They saw these two members of the family, these two youngsters from a very early age, and said, those two are going to be perfect. They will be very happy together. And you were. Yeah, that's beautiful. Not a lot of challenges at all. You experienced a very peaceful love. Best friends for life. Very content. Always expanding together. Always. Always free to share themselves with one another. Wow, that was really... The Daughter of Wands, or the Page of Wands, who's also like a Sagittarius energy. The Eight of Cups, the Son of Cups. Wow. Okay. Ah, that's too many. The Empress. You had 2 children together. The 2 of you had 2 children together, but with these 2 children that you had, you didn't create an arranged marriage for each of them in their lives. The 2 of you kind of broke away from the tradition and like were what's the like kind of like liberal in that way. You wanted them to experience freedom. You had all the faith in the world that you raised each of your children well enough to where they could find their own partners, their own best friends, their own true matches, to recreate in their own way such a beautiful marriage that you each had. So the only thing you guys did different was that you didn't arrange marriages for your children. Your daughter, it seems, and son, the 2 children that you guys had, well, first of all, took after each of you. Like, the son was just like the father, and the daughter was just like the mother, as in the son was like the father in that he was very emotionally stable and sensitive and a dreamer. He was idealistic and he was hardworking in his own ways. He was kind of like an artist. Patient, kind, sensitive, like his father. Your daughter was beautiful, just like you. She inspired fireworks in anybody who looked upon her. She had a vibrant spirit. She was a bit more adventurous because she had the freedom to do so. But your children looked just like you, and they carried a beautiful energy, very reminiscent of each of you. You didn't arrange marriages for them. They went off and found their own partners. But you guys created a beautiful home together. This was an incredible love. It was so easy. It was such an easy life that you guys lived. So maybe in this life, something that you have faced is maybe it has been hard for you to find like your own partner. Maybe a lot of the people that you have fallen in love with or have been taken with, like, are people who you've met through friends or through like family of family. Maybe one of the things that you've experienced in this life is like everybody that's ever been a partner or a potential partner is somebody who you met through another person. It's been hard for you perhaps to walk your own path and attract your own partner from a strange land or some kind of a circle outside of the one you were already connected to, perhaps. Because you come from a life and you have this memory in your some subconscious mind of like being given a partner rather than attracting one and going out and finding one, perhaps. So the lesson in this life perhaps would be to trust yourself and your self-expression and your mode of self-expression and being enough to attract somebody that is way different from, totally disconnected from your circles. That might be a thing. Similarly, you might be somebody who struggles with like gender roles, because in your past life you guys fit the gender roles like to a T. Like the woman was a beautiful lady who lived in the house and did all the household work, wasn't happy to. The man was a man who explored and went to learn how to be a provider and succeeded. Like maybe in this life you've been experiencing a challenge. If you are a female, you don't feel like the conventional female and you don't want to do all of the domestic shit that comes with like being a conventional female on paper. So that may have been a struggle for you to like break out of that because that's been your goal. Similarly, if you are a man, you may have like identified with the fact that you don't want to do all of the conventional man things. You want to be able to, I don't know, sit at home and have a good cry, or the things that are not conventional of men. Maybe you want to be a stay-at-home dad. Maybe you've struggled a lot with this because it's like against the convention of your past life. So it might be the conflict that you struggle with is breaking the conventions of your own gender roles in this life, as well as attracting a partner who nobody in your circle has ever heard of or brought toward you. Two of Cups and the Son of Cups. Yeah. You like the love that you are meant to have in this life is meant to be pretty much as peaceful as the love that you had in a past life. 6 of Wands. Wonderful. Success, victory. The love, you're not really learning a lot of karmic lessons or having to clear a lot of karma. You're kind of like swimming through your incarnations when it comes to love. Love comes easily to you. And if it hasn't, then it will moving forward in the second part of your life. You are meant to experience ease in love. It's what you know. It's what your energy just kind of calls for and calls in. You are meant to attract somebody who is hardworking on your level, who is sensitive on your level, who's very easy to work with, who's very loyal and trustworthy, that inspires loyalty and all the faith in the world from you. This is what you're meant to experience in this life. So if you are ever in a relationship in this life that is like, there's too much going on, like, and then you don't trust this person, and you're getting paranoid and things like that, then that's not the person for you. You are meant only to be with somebody that's your destiny in this life, that is very peaceful, very loving, just like you. Uh-oh. Spam phone calls. Oh, but a phone call. Anytime I get a phone call while I'm doing a reading, I believe it's like a message in love, actually. Like you will be hearing from somebody soon if you haven't already. Like this kind of love is coming your way if you haven't already established it, kind of thing. But wow, that was a happy way to end. Okay, so I think that'll do. Thank you.